And we'll continue with the session, Why We're Here, the Human Imperative, Navigating Uncertainty in the Digital Age. And now we have the participation of Mr. Guo Ping, Huawei's rotating chairman. Welcome, Mr. Guo Ping, to the session.
Thank you, Eduardo. It's a great pleasure to be at this year's forum. The key phrase for this year's forum is a human imperative. Today, when digital technology is becoming a new imperative, some people worry that digital technology may replace humans, and this is understandable. However, I think that digitalization has just begun for most companies. They have stated they will go digital, but their goals remain unclear, and some of them may just follow the pack. This reminds me of Huawei's early IT strategic planning some 20 years ago, where we agreed that our goal was not to deliver world-class IT, but to make Huawei a world-class company. Looking back, we feel quite lucky. Interlocking the goal of digitalization with the company's overall strategic goals was certainly a right move. Today, for most companies, a key question to answer should be this. By going digital, how can they improve their organizational competitiveness and achieve their strategic goals? Next, I want to share my thoughts on digitalization and Huawei's experience in management transformation. First, I think most companies will be digital in the future. After technology companies like Uber entered the taxi market, traditional car service providers started introducing digital technologies to offer car services online. Today, Uber is buying cars in great numbers, shifting to an asset-heavy model. Maybe in the end, most companies will be digital companies. Second, high-quality transformation planning is the starting point for successful digitalization. Take Huawei, for example. In 1998, we launched the IT strategy and planning to kickstart our transformation journey. Based on this planning, Huawei completed the IPD transformation for R&D and ISC transformation for supply chain within 10 years. We also introduced the IFC. This established new processes, restructured the organization, and integrated the results into IT systems. Our organizational capability greatly improved. These transformation programs made us a world-class company. In 2016, we launched our company-level digital transformation plan to support Huawei's goal of staying ahead of the pack in the digital era. For example, after the outbreak of COVID, we moved exhibition halls to the cloud, delivering immersive and comfortable experiences to our customers. Over the past 2 to 3 years, I personally have met customers from China and abroad, even more frequently, of course, through online approach than before. Third, we believe changing people is key to successful transformation. At Huawei, people generally recognize that one thing that never changes is change. At times when we adjust our strategy to adapt to changing environments, the management system would be changed accordingly. We would also work to create a right climate across the company to set the stage to drive internal efficiency. Overall, the readiness for change at Huawei is pretty high, and that's certainly helpful as we roll out the transformation programs. We also provide institutional assurances. For example, to reduce resistance against the transformation, we protect the interests of affected employees. We also identify employees with a sense of a mission and a deep understanding of transformation through successful transformation programs. These people are then assigned to new locations where they work to drive changes. We respect the differences while implementing transformation. This means we motivate who proactively change and give patience to those who don't. We give employees options and time to change. Of course, not all people are comfortable with change. For those who cannot change in a timely manner, we provide them with opportunities where they may thrive more effectively. To advance with times, we review our transformation planning every year to ensure it aligns with our business strategy. I believe continued management transformation will enable most companies to constantly improve their capabilities in the digital era. I also hope all companies will boldly embrace change. After all, there is no real alternative. To quote Peter Drucker himself, one cannot manage change, one can only be ahead of it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Guo Ping. And it's true. We need to constantly change. The only thing that can be constant is change. In this context, the context that you mentioned, that you believe in changing people is key to successful transformation and of constant change, how do you create, how do you build a culture of innovation?
Digitally enabled sound processes allow most employees to have rules to follow, but not all activities are heavily regulated. The company also works to create a culture of innovation, and that starts with the tolerance for failure. Each year, we invest more than 10% of revenue R&D, and 30% of that budget goes to research and innovation. Our 2012 laboratories is a research arm dedicated to fundamental research. They are encouraged to adopt a multi-path, multi-wave trial and error approach. For example, we had been working on many different technologies for 5G before one given technology was selected to be part of industry standards. There were many others we worked on that were not included in industry standards. Our founder, Mr. Ren, once said, you take a path to find out it only leads to a dead end. You share it with others so that they don't repeat it and try another path. That's also a success. Second, we're very serious in bringing on board high-end talents. We try to bring on board the brightest minds to join our research centers around the world. We once set up a research center for scientists who didn't want to leave home. We follow the footsteps of talents. The company also works to create a relaxed working environment for these scientists and the geniuses so that their potential could be fully unleashed.
Thank you. Thank you. It's tolerance for errors, creating a relaxed working environment and having the greatest talent is key. In this process of innovation, through errors and change, learning is key. Learning is key. What's your approach at Huawei to facilitate learning, for training and development of people?
We believe that change is about changing people's mindset and behavior. So the biggest challenge in change is changing people. Through its 20-year transformation journey, Huawei has developed a comprehensive framework to systematically address people-related issues during transformation. First, we do stakeholder analysis, where affected individuals are grouped by capability and willingness for differentiated follow-up actions. We motivated those who actively support change, and for those who resist change, will put them to other positions or take other appropriate measures. Second, the communication and training is carried out throughout the transformation. Following stakeholder analysis, different communication approaches are adopted with the different groups. Then targeted training follows to reskill affected people and ensure effective implementation of the transformation. For example, during the IFS, Integrated Financial Service Transformation for Finance, we completed more than 1,000 training sessions for management, business, and finance personnel. Finally, we pay special attention to the changes to corporate culture. For example, with the IPD transformation for R&D, a matrix structure was introduced. Then necessary measures were needed to ensure that our employees who are used to reporting to functional heads would be comfortable to be also led by project managers. The shaping and the transitioning of organizational culture is an effective guarantee to driving transformation.
So many bits and pieces that we have to put together to achieve learning, to achieve innovation, to achieve change. And let me again highlight what you repeated: create the right climate across the company, or you recently said a relaxed working environment. Give me specific examples of how you create this culture, this working environment.
I think there are a couple of things. First, positive incentive. Positive incentives are often used at Huawei to reward transformation teams so that everyone is aware of the company's orientation. Each year, various awards are presented to thousands of employees, which is certainly a positive impetus for change. But in our experience, a sense of crisis is also very important. It generates the momentum for change and paves the way for real changes. Sometimes we need to make the potential crisis visible through visualization to intensify the sense of a crisis for the employees to truly understand the need for change. Back in 2014, for example, we had a problem in our supply chain. The actual goods did not fully match the accounting records, as the information was sometimes slower than the flow of goods. Many people knew the problem, but they did not fully understand the potential risks it posed to customer satisfaction and operational security. So in 2014, we brought back directors from more than 100 rep offices around the world for a global warehouse conference, which was a live broadcast among our global workforce. Some shocking pictures and videos were displayed, like off-book materials piling up a mountain high at a subcontractor. This was done to help people profoundly understand the need for change and get fully engaged. After several years of hard work that followed, we finally achieved the target of matching inventory accounts with actual goods. A severe crisis will push for even more efficient and radical changes. For more than 20 years, we had been used to sourcing the best parts and components in the world to develop the best products, growing our business year on year. This had been a pattern most people at Huawei got used to. And then over the last 2 years, Huawei was under significant challenges from external environment. All Huawei employees have realized that the environment we live in has changed, and all become inspired and determined to invent ourselves, driving further changes across R&D, and also working to build a more diversified and a resilient supply chain to ensure supply continuity. We've come to recognize that changes in the environment and the pressure of survival are the driving force for change and the perfect opportunity to create a climate for change.
Very, very interesting. I really love your concepts. Just let me highlight a few words, a few sentences. You said our goal is not to deliver world-class IT, but world-class company. Changing people is the key to successful transformation, and to change people You have to have a sense of urgency, inspired to reinvent ourselves, a pressure for survival, you said, and that allows us to drive forward. I think it's very, very insightful. And so thank you very much, Mr. Guo Ping, for your remarks.
谢谢你，谢谢你的邀请。
Thank you for having me. I wish you greater success.
Certainly. Thank you very much. We'll continue with the event.